I want to talk about what's probably the most disappointing flagship phone of the year for me now that we're well at the end of the year and we've got other phones out on the table like the Pixel 7, the iPhone 14. Everything's come out. Like all the major players have put their phones out for the year. And it's disappointing because I actually really like this phone. It's the S22. I like the S22. I thought that the price was competitive compared to everything else. And it's got the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 in it, 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's got a beautiful 6.1 inch screen on here. And that's something that really kind of is lost on a lot of phones nowadays is that smaller screen size. Everything is pushing the envelope 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, 6.7 to infinity and beyond. But the big thing that absolutely kills this phone is the battery life. So it's only got a 3700 milliamp battery. And you might be saying, well, Tech Odyssey, Adam, that's the same battery size we have in the Z Flip 4, which is doing quite a bit better. And that's because it has the Snapdragon 8 Plus Generation 1 in the Z Flip 4. It's fixed some of the heating issues, it's fixed some of the battery issues. The Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 just did not turn out to be as power efficient as it was really kind of advertised to us. So when you put all that power, which that's great, I love all that power. With great power comes great responsibility, and that responsibility was to put a better battery in this phone. I can't hardly even get to halfway through my day of normal usage on this thing. It barely gets about 4 hours screen on time, maybe. I mean, if you're lucky, at least for me. And I know some people are going to say, this phone lasts me all day. I don't know what you're talking about. I like my S22. And that's probably true for a lot of folks. This is my video though, and I'm a very, very heavy user when it comes to my phone, my battery, and using the screen on a lot. And this one just does not add up. And like I said, it's got all the great stuff on there. It's got your facial unlock. It's got the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, not the optical one, which Samsung is the only one that does that. And it's fantastic. I love their fingerprint sensors. And then it's got all the nice, beautiful colors. It's nice. It's thin. You got a nice complement of 3 cameras on the back here with the primary, the telephoto, the ultra wide, 50 megapixel camera. It takes some really good photos. And what really drew this video out was I went out and I was shooting some photo samples and I took a whole bunch of phones, but I wanted to kind of tee this up. I have a video I'm going to make that I want to talk about doing a camera comparison between the Pixel 7 and the S22. And I think you'll be surprised, but don't write the S22 off too quick because I was surprised. It was taking some really good photos. Like really good photos. I'm like, man, this looks really good. I've really kind of not paid a lot of attention to this phone since it first came out, but there was a lot I loved about it because you guys know I like to use smaller form factor phones normally. I know it's a bit of an anomaly now with my iPhone 14 Pro Max and my Z Fold 4 and my my Pixel 7 Pro and all these other big phones. But at heart, I do like something that you can use a little bit more one-handed, and there's just not a lot of that floating around these days. And if there is, it's not as nice of a build and compact finish and really all the power and robust experience you get with the phone. Great speakers, great screen, good cameras, crazy good power, and it's got 5 years of support, 5 years of security patches, 3 years of security updates, and $799, which puts it at the cheapest version of the S22. And I've had all sorts of hateful things to say about the S22 Plus, not because it's a bad phone, but because of the way they marketed it, they being Samsung, charging you $999, dumbing down the camera, not having the best camera experience that you could get like with the Ultra. And then also, it's got the 1080p screen. It doesn't have the LTPO that throttles all the way down to 1 or 10 hertz. There's just a lot of little things that they didn't put in there that once you get to $1,000, I really feel like it just needs to be a pretty complete phone. And it's a very good phone, but I think that the S22 Plus really should have been $799, $899, and if we could have got this at $699, that would have been fantastic. I think this is a little overpriced at $799, $699 I think would be more competitive, but it has a Samsung name on it, and Samsung is always going to charge more. But here's the way they get away with doing that, is they give you all these crazy incentives, trade-in offers. So many people, they trade in a phone and they're like walking out for free with the phone. Like for instance, so the Z Flip 4, Samsung is having such good deals on it. I traded in a Note 8 with a cracked back over at AT&T, and I got the Z Flip 4 for free. Free 99. I just had to pay the taxes on it. That's how Samsung gets you. So it's hard to sit here and talk about, okay, this phone shouldn't be $799, but in reality, I don't know anybody who physically took $799 plus tax out of their wallet and paid for it. You can trade in like dirt and they'll give you a couple $100 for it. I'm just joking. You can't really trade in dirt, but Yeah, that's how Samsung gets you. So it's hard to look at it straight up numbers comparison when you say, okay, yeah, it's $799, but I don't really know a lot of folks that are going to be spending $799 on this phone. So doubling back around, talking about the phone, I like it. I like it a lot, and it's great. You can get some pretty inexpensive accessories. This one right here is actually my favorite case for this phone. And one of my most favorite cases the last couple of years, which is the Caseology Nano Pop, and I've got a link in the description for that if you want to pick one of these up. I think it complements the phone really well. Nice, recessed around the back. You've got access and protection for the cameras, raised bezel protection on the front, all the good things that you could possibly want in a smartphone case, and it doesn't break the bank. Now, the only problem that I have here with this one, usually some glass screen protectors will work with the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. For whatever reason, this one does not. This brand that I got, I can't remember which one this is. So just check that in the reviews. I'm not going to recommend this one, but I didn't take it off because I don't want to be roaming around and get a scratch on my screen. So yeah, I like the phone. I like it a lot. This is one of my most favorite normal like S series phones that Samsung has made in a long time. I really enjoy it. It's great. You can do whatever you want. You can game, you can do social media, you can do all that stuff. Just not for very long. Because the battery just gets siphoned out of this phone like drinking a milkshake out of a straw. Like Samsung is just saying, I drink your milkshake, and taking all your battery life out of your phone. If you get the movie reference, sound off in the comments because I'm curious if anybody actually got that movie reference. Anyway, so we'll talk about that more later. But yeah, I like the phone. It's just disappointing because I could carry this as a daily driver. And there's not a whole lot of Samsung phones other than the flagship ones that I would really say, and I mean, this kind of lumps into that category, but hear me out. This one, I don't have a lot of complaints about the 1080p because it's only a 6.1 inch screen. Your eyes really can't tell that much of a difference. I don't really feel like at $799, 6.1 inch screen, you have to have a Quad HD Plus. Versus $999 and a 6.6 inch screen, yeah, I feel like you need to have Quad HD Plus. So 1080p, 120 hertz, this just needed a bigger battery. And I don't know what their thinking was other than just trying to make it really, really thin, which comparatively to a lot of phones, it is pretty thin, especially with the power plant you get in here. It's a very, very, very thin and very well balanced, very nice lightweight phone. But man, if they made this, if they could have just moved a couple of the parts around on the inside, maybe thrown a little bit extra battery in there, I think it would have gone a long way. If they could have got like 4200 milliamp in here, I think that would have been the sweet spot. Just enough to get you to that 5.5 hour screen on time mark, at least for me. And then we'd be having a different story right now. So I do like this phone. I like it a lot. I don't want anybody to walk away from this video and be like, oh, he hates the S22. He's bashing it. I'm really not. I like almost 95% of this phone other than the battery life. And that's just the big limiting factor. And I've read the comments on other videos I made. A lot of people think the same thing. Great phone. Like the phone. Battery life. Pants. Like Pants City. It's not good. So that's all I've got. I'm going to go and wrap this one up on that note. If you have any questions or comments, you want to talk about it, are you a fan of the S22? It might even be a good pickup here soon, especially as we get closer to the S23 territory coming around January time. You know Samsung loves to drop the prices on their stuff. So we'll have some more discussion about this probably later on. And yeah, that's all I got. So if you enjoyed the video, then please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.